Amen. And you see it everywhere in the Bible. And the Lord set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of what? And caused me to pass them around about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very what? God made sure that Ezekiel will have a full excursion to see the validity of destruction in the bone. All right? There was nothing like, oh, I'm hiding something from you. No, God said, no, have a full time, check the bones, review the bones, have relationship with the bones, know how far the bone has been destroyed, and see everything in and out of those bones. Now look at this carefully. It uses the word dry, very dry. Amen. It means that there were nothing of life around that bone. You see, when a dead thing is dead, what we have is that the vultures will come and feast. The coyotes will come. Oh, the highness, the highness. See them coming and giggling. They will be coming to feast. Every single creature will feast on that thing. And once what is left, the maggots will also feast. When the maggots finish, it is not finished because there will be still connections of bones left. Why? Because the maggots cannot get into the tendon, those veins that connects the bones. Those veins that connect the bones, sometimes it can take up to 20, 30 years for those bones to wither away. So when you wrap a mummy and you treat a mummy, those are the veins that still hold the mummy's body together. That vein between your finger and around this place and all this, that puts the jaw. You see, this is one bone, this is another bone. Between those bones, there is a plate. And that plate, there is a piece of strength, of tendon, of some sort of vein that joined, that glued it together. If it's not so tough, when you dip your hand like this, you might find the separation between your finger or your bones on your wrist or something. So God intentionally made it so tough. So when you get yourself a piece of meat, I like where the bones is. When you begin to separate the bones, you realize that there is something between the bones. Amen. And depending where that side is, sometimes it's tough. And it gives you a lot of work. Amen. And Ezekiel saw that these things are no longer there. It was not just bones, but dried bones. So God asked him a question. Verse 3. And the Lord said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? Now, God put Ezekiel in a very uncomfortable position. I mean, these bones live. It's like, what is God wanting from this man? If it was a dead bird, Son of man, can this? Of course, this bird will rise. Amen. Or it was a cripple somewhere. Son of my oh yeah, this cripple will walk. But when Ezekiel looked at the number of bones in that valley, and the bones were dry. Now, let me explain something here. Where the bones were, it can only be dry because the bones has affected the vegetation. That means that where the bones were in desert for it to be dry. That means those dead bones has poisoned, remove everything of life that has come in contact with that bone. Don't get me wrong, Ezekiel have seen a lot of things. He was a high priest and a prophet. This is the only guy who has been a prophet and a high priest, or one of them, to hold those two office. So he has seen things. If you read Ezekiel chapter 1, you see that guy have seen things. Amen. But when God asked him that question, he could not answer. If we look at the answer of Ezekiel, it was a safe answer. Look at somebody and say a safe answer. Where I'm trying to take you to is that sometimes the things around you will challenge your faith. Oh, I can't hear you. It will challenge your faith. It will make you doubt everything that you know. It will make you even forget who you are as a Christian. It will make you think about everything differently. A valley full of dry bones, that means everything there was dry. No element of life. The bones, around the bones, no, cemetery is good. You find flowers in cemetery. You find some trees in cemetery. We're talking about a place that there is no life. Cemetery have life. The rats do have life in cemetery. There was nothing there, no life. No organism. Dry. Ezekiel looked at those things and he was challenged. Someone who has been carried in the chariots of God, someone who has met the presence of God, someone who has talked with the heavenly host. This guy has seen things, he has done things, he has known things. He was not just an ordinary person, and yet now he is shaken. That means sometimes in our lives, we can be hit by things that will make us question who we are, and that is okay. But my Ezekiel trick is when you do not know and it's so big for you, don't say it's not possible. Are you hearing me? Don't say it's not possible. Say, God, you know it. Because God, when he's doing things, it is not based on the realm of man. So instead of destroying your trust and your faith in him throw it back to him and say, God, I trust in you. I don't know how you're going to pull this. I don't know how you're going to make it. In fact, I have no idea. But I know that you can do all things because you made all things, and therefore it is in your hands. That was a safe bet. That was a safe bet. In Ghanaian adage, they say that there was a kid who went to the bush and caught a bird. And there was a village, in that village, there was a wise man in the village. And the kid told himself that I'm going to make this wise man a fool because he's been solving every problems. He went to the forest, caught himself a bird, and came to the wise man and said, Wise man, I have a bird in my hands. It's in my right hand. But I want you to tell me, is the bird alive or dead? Because they say you are wise. You should be able to know whether I have a bird who is alive or dead. The wise man looked at the kid. Look at him. Everybody expecting the wise man to answer the question. Tell us, wise man, you know everything. Is the bird alive or is the bird dead? You can't get away with it, wise man. Now tell us. If you are smart enough, you tell everybody you are intelligent. Now answer this question. And the wise man looked at the face of that child and said, for the bird to be alive or dead, my son, is in your own hands. Amen. It's in your own hands. If I say he's dead, you leave the bird to fly. If I say he's alive, you squeeze the head of the bird. The life of that bird is in your hands. When everything is overwhelming to you, there is one answer you should never give. That is impossible. Never in your vocabulary remove that word. Because you are not just a person, you are a Christian, a human, plus. There is more to you as a human. Therefore, the word impossible, remove from you. No matter how crazy something might sound or look, remove impossibilities from your vocabulary. So Paul said, I can do all things through Christ who do what? You have to know that you are not a simpleton. Ezekiel could have simply said no, because every metrics known to man pointed to no. You see, if it wasn't a dry bone and it was a dead person, Ezekiel would have answered the question straight away. Are you with me?